And we are live on a week 9 edition of Ballin in the Boot. I'm your host, Jace LeJeune. And man, we're getting to the nitty gritty, guys. We're going to week 9, and we got a lot to talk about all over the state of Louisiana. I've done a lot of talking over the last couple of days. I called the game on Thursday, called the game on Friday, and guess what? I'm still out here on this Halloween night talking about some more high school football. And man, we got a packed show. We got some coaching greats coming on the show right now. That's what makes the show so great. And we got to kick it off because we got some great coaching greats right now. But might as well, we want to start off with Thursday. Might as well talk about Thursday's action. I know we got a couple coaches on board. But right now, we're going to go to Coach Chop over there. We're going to start off the bat with a big Thursday game. Coach Standiford from LCA. And, Coach, y'all got a WIN last night. Y'all got yourself a win over Evangel Christian. Coach, I mean, the atmosphere, I can only imagine, but I didn't call a game Thursday, Coach. That was actually the game I was going to. But, man, I mean, a great crowd, great atmosphere. Seemed like y'all had the college game day kind of set up beforehand.
Yeah.
And, man, it didn't disappoint. And obviously, we're going to show the play. But Coach, obviously, a huge game, huge win. I mean, 24-22. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, 24-22.
Absolutely, Coach. Talk about this one. You knew Braylon Walker and Pop Houston were really the two headliners going in, but really got a little best of both worlds. It was just a really good football game.
Absolutely. You know, Evangel's a top-tier team. Feel like they're one of the top 10 teams in their division. They got a legitimate shot to go a long way. And, you know, you talk about some of the guys that they got, you know, Pop Houston, who I feel is one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the entire state. Because, I mean, we got 4 or 5 really good ones. You know, Johnny Casey, one of their receivers, and we were able to do a really good job locking them down. You know, I think we held Casey to 2 catches the entire game. It was really a defensive slugfest, and everybody thought it was going to be a shootout. Everybody was going to take the over, but both defenses showed out. And at the end of the day, it wasn't about Braylon versus Pop. It was more LCA versus Evangel, and we were able to come through.
Yeah, y'all did, and you talked about it wasn't just the 2 quarterbacks. I mean, the defense stepped up when it mattered most, and we'll go and show that play right here. But as you see on X, but this was basically the play at the very end. I believe it was Luke Green, right, Coach, to come in.
Yeah, so Draylon August, one of our receivers, he was guarding Johnny Casey all night. So he actually makes the first initial hit, and then squares pop up, and then Luke Green comes through and finishes him off, and ends up being the one that forces the fumble.
A huge play. I mean, big-time players make big-time plays, and Luke Green is definitely one of your guys for sure. Just overall, I mean, the talent – there's one thing to have talent, but just from what I've seen, I mean, the last time I was there in person to see y'all play was the Karen Grow game, I mean, early in the season, and obviously that was a great game from your offense. But just what do you think makes this team so special? Not just the talent, but how this team plays together.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of adversity that this group has gone through. You know, I'm their 4th head coach since they were freshmen, so they've kind of gone through it. You know, but the staff has rallied around each other. The kids have rallied around us, and it's really been awesome to see. Just you know their effort and determination. Because you know, you look at last year, and we were 4-6 at the end of the regular season, and we lost a lot of close games. You know, 1 possession to Rummel. 1 possession to Central, and this year we were able to flip it. And, you know, we've won 4 1-possession games, all against 5A schools, and I don't think that's coincidence. I think that's a testament to how hard the kids have worked.
Yeah, for sure. And what also played in this role? Obviously, the big play at the end was the play that everybody is kind of looking at. But just, I mean, talk about overall what played in the role in order for y'all to get the victory.
Yeah, so there was a couple things. You know, we're never one to talk about time of possession as given a literal number, but we were looking at it and saying, hey, the less that they have the ball in their hands, the better we feel about it. And so time of possession was actually 30 minutes for us and 18 for them. And one possession that I look at is we were up 21-15 right at the end of the second quarter. We take over with 5 minutes and 41 seconds left on the clock, and we drive that thing all the way down. End up not scoring, right? But we give them the ball with 37 seconds left, and then we get the ball to start the second half, and so it really played in our favor. And one thing that was huge for us is special teams. You know, we kind of struggled at that a little bit last year against them. They had a blocked punt that they pretty much scored a touchdown on. And last night, you know, we were fortunate enough we blocked a punt, and then we ended up having a field goal, which turned out to be the game winner.
And you were able to see Pop Houston in person. I mean, all the accolades, committed to LSU. But talk about just, being, getting a chance to, he's going to make his plays. I mean, he's just a really
Absolutely.
talented player, but trying to limit those plays and how you feel like the defense does a great job of game planning and trying to minimize some of the damage that obviously he can create.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about a kid that's averaging 330 yards passing. We held him to 155. A team that's been averaging 55 points a game, we held him to 22. Mitch Kraft, our defense coordinator, has done a heck of a job week in and week out, and I think we've seen that in the scores. And so to be able to hold them like that, you know, they don't do a traditional shotgun. They're back 9 yards deep, and so we were able to create some pressure, get a few sacks, put them in some tough situations. But then, like you said earlier, great players make great plays, and he had that long 61-yard touchdown where he broke like 7 tackles. And you're
Mhm.
going to have that against teams like this, you know. And you know, they had the first touchdown early on, but other than that, I mean, our defense played incredible. We had a big time forced fumble at the end, but we had 3 or 4 big time stops, especially in the second half when our offense was moving the ball but not necessarily scoring, and that's really what kept us in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be really encouraging, right? Because a lot of the storylines for you guys this year, y'all put up a lot of gaudy statistics and put up a lot of big numbers and a lot of big wins this year. But to win a game like that, 24-22, really, I mean, you want a game like that from your coach because it shows you that, hey, like we can win it ugly if we have to and win multiple different ways if we need to.
Absolutely. And that's what the second half is all about. So we actually had 3 drives in the second half. One drive being the one we scored the field goal on. We were actually at 4th and 28, forced a penalty, 15-yard. We ended up getting offsides, kick a chip shot. And then we had 2 drives in the fourth quarter where we drive the length of the field and ended up stalling out on fourth down, but we were able to keep the ball for pretty much the whole third quarter into the fourth, and that really kept them off the field. And I think honestly that played a huge factor in keeping them out of rhythm, right? So even you look at 24 points and you say, oh, well, you know, your offense didn't do great, but they did well enough and executed, and the defense stepped up and played tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, what you have to say? I mean, it's great to have your best players kind of be your biggest leaders, but we talk about Braylon, I mean, Braden Allen, Luke Green, I mean, guys like that, Cam Ballard as well. What do you see from those players from their leadership standpoint? We know they can play football, but as far as leaders,
Absolutely, and it's funny you said that because you mentioned being at the Carricker game. I think it started that halftime. You know, we
hmm
were down 18-13. Brought Luke and Braylon together, and I didn't really have to say a whole lot. They looked at each other, pointed out a couple of things, and said, "Don't worry, coach, we got you." And when you got 2 seniors that have been through the fire, that have played in big moments, and they're able to call on their brothers and make sure everybody's accountable, it makes our job really easy. And then we can do the X's and O's, and we don't have to worry about their effort. We don't have to worry if they're locked in because we know that they are. And honestly, it starts all the way back in practice. You know, we were fortunate enough to get one in on Sunday with it being a short week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and everybody was super locked in. I think our kids were really excited, especially on the defensive side, because the talk all week was how good Evangel's offense was, and they are very, very talented. And I don't want to take anything away from them, but our defense of players, our defensive coaches saw it as a challenge, and they rose to it and played phenomenal.
Two quick ones. I know we got another coach coming up next, but yeah, I mean, it seems like there's always a thing about being in playoff mode, right? But it seems like with the regular season schedule y'all had, it seems like you're in playoff mode in the regular season. I mean, the teams y'all played Rummel, Karen Crow, Westgate, Shaw, Central, Lafayette Renaissance, Notre Dame, Welsh, Evangel, and you're 8-1 through the stretch. How proud of your team knowing how this is not the easiest schedule to go through and have a record like that.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hit me last night after talking with their coaches and going back and walking, you know, about to get meet with our team at the end of the game, and I got a little emotional just thinking about it, like how good God's been to us, and just seeing, you know, this time last year we were 3-6. about to take a 3-hour bus ride home. And that was miserable. And, just seeing where we're at right now, flipping it, being 8-1, locking up the number one seed, heading into week 10, with it being homecoming. And there's still a lot for us to prove. We tell our kids all the time it's about going 1-0. We haven't really proven anything yet,
Yeah.
although we have beaten some good teams. And it's just trying to prepare ourselves for the playoff push. But, man, I'm so proud of our guys, our coaches. It's just really been a collective effort.
Yeah, and the last thing before you go, you just mentioned it. It was a great segue to it. But right now, number one seed in Division 3 select, and yeah, that's basically a bracket I'm familiar with because I call a lot of Episcopal's games. I know Dunham's in that division, and really the season Joel Sumner's having. Calvary's always there. The defending state champs, Catholic New Iberia, but trying to get your team focused as well. You got a Week 10 game next week against Lake Arthur, but continue to keep your team focused and concentrating on the big goal ahead.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. This group of kids, for as much success as we've had, none of them have won a state championship, and that started with last year's senior class. And so that's obviously the main goal. But we're just trying to take it one game at a time. And we're looking at the bracket, and at the end of the day, we've done what we can do to put ourselves in the best spot. And the bracket's going to fall how it falls, and whoever is fortunate enough to be on our side of the bracket, we're going to welcome the challenge. We're going to welcome the opportunity, and it can't be no tougher than what we've already faced this year. So I know our kids are going to be prepared, and people look at the schedule and say, Coach, why are you doing this? But we saw last year when we had Dunham on the ropes in the quarterfinals, and they ended up pulling it out against us, and they had a great squad. But I know our kids were prepared regardless of our record, and so that's what we're hoping to do again this year.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, I appreciate spending a little bit of your Halloween. This is like the off day for you. You played last
Yes,
night.
sir.
So I do appreciate spending a couple minutes with me, Coach. And we're really looking forward to covering the rest of the way, see how the Knights are doing. You're doing an awesome job with this
Yes,
team,
sir. I
Coach.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach Matt Stanford, Chop Stanford, with us today, victorious head football coach at LCA. Coach Stanford's doing an awesome job with his team over there at LCA. They are 8-1, and they are really rolling right now. Number one team in their division, and we're going to go from 8-1 team. Might as well go from 8-1 team to a 9-0 team right now. I think we're finally on board. Yeah, Coach is making sure to quiet everybody down. But Coach Justin Reed, what's going on, Coach? 9-0, and it's time to talk about those Yellow Jackets right now, because right now, Coach, y'all really rolling right now. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear me? How about now? No?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I can't hear you, though. It's the only thing.
Okay, maybe try going out and off, and maybe get you again or something. Maybe we try to reconnect.
I don't know. Do I need to maybe get out and try to get back in or something?
Maybe so. Yeah, let's try that. So, well, technical difficulty. But hey, we're live, and things like that happen live. So I expect that to happen. I know we got a couple comments right now. Let's see. We have Acadiana Rams. They get a win tonight, 49-21 over Sam Houston. A big win for Acadiana. It seems like they've been on a roll over the last couple of games. We have a couple comments here. Colin DeBetta, I know he's a big-time player. One touchdown pass. Let's try this one again. Hey, yeah. Coach, can you hear me now?
I'm good now.
Perfect, Coach. And like I said, talk to Coach Stanford, and they're really rolling right now at 8-1, and your guys are really rolling right now at 9-0. And it's time to talk about those Yellow Jackets right now. But 9-0 on the season, coming off 58-12 tonight?
Yes, sir. 58-12.
Awesome, Coach. Just break it down for us tonight. Report Barry 58-12 tonight, and how you are able to win, continue this momentum, continue the trend that y'all been on right now.
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked about with our team, with our with everybody involved, was just making sure we had a good week of preparation. And I feel like I would say, regardless of the opponent, we really focus on our preparation each week, just like any other team. But this was, I would say, our cleanest week of practice. Very few mental mistakes, and everything was just sharp. So I felt like we had a good chance to carry that into the game. And then just looking at, I haven't really watched the film yet, but my initial reaction to the game is that I think it was probably our most complete performance on both sides of the ball of the year. So I was really proud of our guys for doing that.
Yeah, that's saying a lot because of y'all been really nearly flawless. I mean, all season long. I mean, y'all have had
Yeah,
a tough win early in the season against Welsh, 36-32, and y'all been rolling Iota, Rose Pine, had a tough one against Eunice. And
yeah,
it seems to me, Coach, that y'all had a good balance. Y'all been on a roll recently. Y'all scored more than 50 points in your last 4 games.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like early in the season, winning some of those close games really helps this team. And what do you think's really been clicking the most for how this team has been playing, not only winning, but how they've been winning?
Yeah, I think if you just look at the scores initially, you're going to see the points that we've scored as an offense. So I think our offense has been very efficient the past 4 weeks. But I think sometimes our defense gets overshadowed just because of the nature of our offense being an up-tempo team. And it's really hard for us. You know, we run a lot of plays on offense, so our defense is also on the field for a lot. So sometimes you look at the points scored against us, and you may feel like maybe our defense isn't uh, as efficient as our offense, but really I think our defense has played a lot better the past couple of weeks, and that's kind of been to me the catalyst in these last 4 games is having the defense be able to play well, along with our offense continuing to do the things that we try to do each week. And again, tonight was just to me a complete team effort for 4 quarters, and just proud of our kids for being able to do that.
Coach, is also a time to talk about. I don't think he gets really enough credit for what he really needs to get. I mean, as far as like names across the state, but your quarterback Isaiah
Absolutely.
Thomas, I mean, he's been a baller for you, big time playmaker. Talk about Isaiah and how he's been really the catalyst for the success that y'all had this year.
Yeah, Isaiah is the heartbeat of our offense, no doubt about it. Everything goes through him on offense, and uh, one thing I think Isaiah would tell you is there's been a couple games where he didn't play maybe up to his standard these past couple weeks, and tonight was an example of him doing the things that we've been on him about fixing the past couple weeks, and he played his best game of the year. There's no doubt about it. And one thing about Isaiah is, and I tell people this all the time, he is the calm in the storm for our team. Like he is the same person every day. He's calm, he's collected, and he leads our offense. And again, there's a lot of things that we do on offense that goes through him. And I'm with you. I don't think he gets enough credit for the season he's had, and he's kind of maybe overlooked at times. But I think he deserves to be talked about as much as possible. And I just hope we get to play for as long as possible this year, so people can really start to get a chance to see him. And I think he has a chance to play at the next level.
Absolutely. And what helps, he does have and I'm sure you're going to really enjoy this. He has another year after this year of eligibility for next year. I know you're really excited about that. Obviously, Isaiah is really the big name, but talk about some of the other leaders, some of the other guys that have been consistently put y'all in the position that y'all been in this year.
Yeah. It's not just Isaiah. He is the leader of our offense and one of the undoubtedly one of the leaders of our team. But if you look on the offensive side of the ball, one thing I think that makes us unique is we have 3 to 5 guys at wide receiver who we feel comfortable playing every week. And, tonight he threw 5 touchdown passes to 4 different guys. And that's, at a 2A school to have that depth of talent out there is really special. So that's guys like Peyton Simeon playing wide receiver, Brandon Perkins, John Luke Benderly. And if you spend a lot of time as a defense trying to take those guys away, well, then we have running backs, Bryson England, John Roberts has been really the bell cow for us in the backfield the past couple of weeks. And, I just feel like from a standpoint of balance as an offense, some other guys maybe don't get as much credit as they deserve. But I feel like we can win games in several different ways as an offense, whether it's running the ball or throwing the ball. And I think that makes us, a really dynamic offense. And I think we're going to be a tough out when we get to the playoffs.
Well, absolutely. I mean, continue that trajectory as well. Going 9-0. You want to play your best football going into the playoffs, and y'all definitely have been doing that the last couple of games. But I know really the eyes are on an undefeated season. That's on the line, going 10-0. I know Kinder's always been a proud program and has made deep playoff runs, going to state championships before under Coach Fuselier. But going next week, Voiles is a tough matchup. I mean, they're a 6-3 team as well, but also for your team, you definitely want to end the regular season on a great note. Not only being 10-0, but feel really good about yourself going into the playoffs. But talk about next week, and I know you're enjoying this one, obviously, going 9-0, but also make sure to take care of business and just focus on the task at hand, because if Wills can be that type of team that can trip you if you're not careful.
Yeah, Avoyelles is just a hard-nosed, physical, tough team, and we've had some battles with them the past 4 years. It seems like, whether it's been the playoffs or in district games. So I think, and I told our kids this immediately after the game. I feel like next Friday night in Kinder is going to be one of the most special nights that our program has had in some time. We have a chance to go undefeated, finish the season at 10-0 against a very quality opponent, and we know that we're going to get their best shot because they're one of the teams we feel like a lot of times that can show up and match us man for man. So it's going to be about who executes better, who has the least amount of mistakes, who prepares the best throughout the week, and I know this game just ended, but I can tell you this: there's a lot of people in Kinder already looking forward to next Friday night, and I'm one of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot on the line. This is definitely going to be one of the biggest regular season games in Kinder history. But looking at this is kind of the time of year. I'm sure you are looking, but kind of looking at the seedings a little bit, potentially where you're going to be stacked at. You have a bye. We've played somebody first round, but talk about the bracket overall. I mean, right now, as we looks like our number 5, I think, in the power rankings. Only teams ahead of y'all are ERAF, Sterlington, Gina, and St. James. Those are really good ball teams in front of you. But talk about really the bracket and just trying to navigate through some of those teams that we just talked about.
Yeah, it is tough for us because we're just right in the middle of 2A as far as our enrollment, and a lot of those teams are 3A that you just mentioned in front of us. So we know that that those are going to be teams, if we do get lucky enough to get a chance to play them in the playoffs, that's going to be some big ball games and some quality opponents. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that I felt good about our guys against anybody. So it's hard to say what the playoff bracket is going to shake out like, because a couple points here and there could be the determining factor on who you play, in your path to getting to hopefully a state championship. But for us, it's and I know it's cliche and people don't want to hear it, but we literally have to just take it one game at a time. And whether that's next Friday, whether that's if we get a bye the following week, or if we play the next week, it really doesn't matter to us. We're working on us every day, and like I said, it doesn't really matter who we play. I feel good about our chances, and just our kids deserve to be in those big games, and I'm looking forward to preparing them and getting them ready to have a chance to be a part of those big games.
Absolutely, Coach. And just my final question, just to wrap things up, in order for y'all to have the most success, I mean, obviously next week, but moving forward, what is the brand of football, Kinder? If you say, hey, this is Kinder Yellow Jacket football, what is that style of football in order for y'all to have success and make that run to the Dome?
Yeah, maybe not the word you're expecting, but I would say fun. I want it to be fun. I want us to be an offense that's balanced, throwing the football around the field. And if you watch this play, we snap it about as fast as the officials can put it down. So we're gonna we want to have some fun. We want to be flying to the ball on defense, making big plays and celebrating. And we have a group of guys on the sideline who if they're not in the game, they're part of the Juice Squad, and they're just trying to get the fans involved and trying to keep the energy up on the sideline. So if we're having fun and we're playing fast and physical, I think it's a fun thing to watch, and that's our brand of football, is fast and fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Yellow Jacket fans are embracing that style of football, and they're really enjoying it. Coach Reed, doing an awesome job of this program. Keep it up, and I appreciate you spending some time on this Halloween night after a big victory, a little bit of celebration there. Don't have too much fun, Coach. And get ready for the next one.
All right, Jace. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coach Justin Reed doing an awesome job with their Kinder Yellow Jackets, 9-0, and have a really great shot of going 10-0 next week. And what a story that will be. Keep an eye on the Kinder Yellow Jackets moving forward. So we always a score update here. Westminster Christian Academy 60-0 over North Central. So a little bit later than usual, but hey, you never know when these games are finally in, right? But we're going to bring our correspondent. We're going to bring our guy on board, Roman Clark. Roman, welcome to the show, my man.
Hello.
Oh, you got a microphone now. You're all special now, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm upgraded.
Upgrade. I like it. I like it, Roman. So, first of all, before we go into our conversation about the game, I saw the article you posted. We'll share that on Gridiron Football right now. But Javon Vital, is a guy that I've covered a whole lot, obviously for obvious reasons, being one of those guys at LSU is going after, and you got a chance to interview him as well. But talk about that interview and get a chance to talk to Javon.
Well, Javon's a special talent, as we all know. He's a true athlete, someone that's really versatile, and I feel like I was able to talk about that in my article. His just being able to display his versatility. He's a guy that plays quarterback, running back, receiver, cornerback. I wouldn't be surprised if he's carrying the bags. He's doing it all. He's doing it all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the article right there. You can read more about it at gridironfootballusa.com. And I tell you what, I think he gave you some inside scoop there. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but you asked him what school he really likes right now. And keep in mind, he was about to make his decision. He decided to postpone his decision. And he gave you an answer about a school he really likes. So I just got to say, if you're a recruiting fan, make sure to go and check that article at gridironfootballusa.com. I thought that was pretty interesting with the answer he had there. So check that out there. But let's talk about the game that you were at tonight. And it was Prairieville and Santa Maria. Before we start anything, tell us what was I believe Santa Maria did pull out and get the victory, right?
Yes, they did.
Oh, do you remember what the score was?
49-24.
49-24. Okay, 49-24. Prairieville. I tell you what, that game was that's one of those games you look at, Roman. You can tell me because you were there, but I felt like that score was a lot closer than what the score actually indicated.
Well, for sure, definitely. That Saint Amant offense in that second half really took ahead and led. It was 17-14 going into half. So it was a real big scoring output from Saint Amant in that second. But it was definitely a game that was decided by the defense for sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting because Sam Mall has been in some shootouts this year, for sure. You got an up and close and personal look at one of our Gridiron Football Player of the Weeks this year, Cooper Babin, the Sam Mall quarterback. Tell us, he's to be honest with you, he's really underrated. I don't think it's talked about enough. But talk about Cooper and what you saw from him tonight.
Cooper Babin was really nice. He showed his mobility. He was getting out of the pocket plenty, scrambling out. He scored 2, I believe, touchdowns on the day, and he was really versatile. He was able to get out. I think his decision making was also strong today. So he was definitely a big part of the win.
Oh, for sure. He really was what he was able to do. So 49-24, Sam Mall, they improved to 7-2 on the season. The 2 losses, a touchdown loss to – they're heartbreaking losses. A touchdown loss to Dutchtown, and they lost in their rivalry game to East Ascension on a 2-point – they went for 2 to try to get the win, 49-48, and they did not get the 2-point conversion. So that was their 2 losses this year. And you talked about the defense. What impressed you so much about the defense, because that was the first thing that you mentioned tonight?
Well, that was the part I was waiting for. You had a massive game from Jeremy Wheatley. He had 3 sacks on the day on the D line, but he also was able to get an interception as well. So it was a massive day for him. He was a big leader on that defense. You constantly seen him in the play, and if he wasn't the one making the play, he was the one congratulating his teammates on the play. And that defensive line for Saint Amant was showing out, especially in that second half.
Yeah, definitely. It really did. And this team is 7-2. Looking really good in terms of their district as well. 3 and their 2 losses were district, but they got, this is going to be a fun one next week. They got Denham Springs next week. So that is going to be a really fun game with 2 fun teams. And let's talk about Prairieville real second as well. This is only their second year in 5A football. They didn't have you go in JV and you kind of, take your lumps along the way. They went right into it. We're going to play varsity football at the highest level. This is only their second year. What have you seen from Prairieville? Because I feel like they've taken some tremendous strides this year. in their second year.
They definitely looked at that level in that first half for sure. It's Halloween night, so I'm gonna say that defense was looking spooky because Bryson Glover, he had 2 early interceptions in the first and second quarter. He had interception on the first play of the game against Saint Amant, but then of course Saint Amant was able to turn it around. But especially Bryson Glover was a strong display, and then also Skylar Kelly, the quarterback.
Yeah,
it felt like he converted every single fourth down that they had. It was really strong decision making. It was really nice to see for sure.
Yeah, I think Skylar is actually one of the state's leaders in rushing, and he's a quarterback. So it shows you how much they're going to lean on him running the football. Looking forward, I think Prairieville, with the loss, I think they go to 4-5. So, which considering their second year of varsity action is pretty impressive. Have a chance to go 5-5 against. Looks like they got St. Thomas Aquinas next week. But for St. Amant, seeing them in person, and you kind of have an idea. You've seen a pretty good sample size of teams. What do you think about the St. Amant team, maybe compared to some of the teams you've seen this year?
Well, that St. Amant team was definitely one of the stronger ones because, of course, I was talking about that defense and how they were able to be nice. But then also that offense in that second half was scoring crazy. Especially Jordan Hickerson. He had 4 touchdowns on the day. And so he was constantly in the end zone, constantly working. Their running back core was really strong, and they were a big part of it. Of course, as well as Cooper Babin, who could run very well on his own. Mm-hmm. So they were definitely able to get a lot of work done on the ground.
Yeah, man, for sure thing. Any final nuggets, anything else you want to talk about this game before we wrap up our conversation here?
No, I think I covered about all I wanted to.
All right, perfect. So final score, 49-24. St. Amant improves to 7-2 on the season. Prairieville falls to 4-5. That was the game there. If you want to read more about that game, Roman will have a game recap on our website, gridironfootballusa.com, and make sure to check out his article on Javon Vital. He's a big-time player in the state of Louisiana, class of 2027. Check that article out at gridironfootballusa.com. If you're a recruiting fan, I'm sure you'll get a chance. There's one thing that's interesting of note in that article to check out. So, Roman, continue your great work, man, and keep it up, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, our correspondent, Roman Clark, joining us here tonight. Roman saying goodbye to everybody. I hope Roman has a great Halloween. I hope all of y'all are having a great Halloween as well. So right now, we're going to take our first commercial break. We already visited with Roman. We already visited with 2 coaches already. And I just got to say, really sponsors like these really make our show really happen. I want to say Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Sidings. Appreciate Tommy and all his help. They've been here since 2014, but talk about over 20 years of experience. You want to go to professionals. You want to go to the guys that can get it done. Tommy's Windows can get it done. 20 years of experience, like I mentioned. You get your place faulty windows, entry doors, siding, gutters. They even do gutters, right? You need porch screens, patio covers installed. They got you covered there. So make sure to give them a call if you want to get any of those replaced, 225-250-8808, or just go to Go Tommy's. And there's only one way to spell go in the state of Louisiana. It's GEAUX. So make sure to go GEAUX Tommys.com. So Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Welcome back, guys, to Ballin in the Boot. We just finished our number one. We'll be out here tonight. Hope everybody is enjoying their great Halloween night. We'll go to some of your comments right now. Let's see what we have here. I saw this, and we're going to talk about what this game could potentially mean. If this game is in the Superdome, man, I'm going to be super stoked if we get this matchup. I'm right there with you, Cash Flow Maverick. LCA Dunham is going to feed families. I totally agree with you there. That is going to be an awesome matchup. LCA, Braylon Walker, you got Dunham, Elijah Haven. But these are two teams that they can win games multiple ways. If they have to lean on their running game, they can. If they lean on their passing game, obviously they can do that. The defense has been really good at a lot of times this year. So that is going to be a fun matchup. I really hope we get a game like that, but that is a tough bracket to go through. So I could see many different variations, but even we see this, obviously that'll be a type of game you would want to see in the Superdome, but if we get this game in a semifinal game, a quarterfinal game, depending on how the brackets lay up or how they're pretty much directed, then we can see a game like that, and that's going to be really fun for sure. So let's see. We have here Westminster Christian, 60 North Central, nothing. Yep, that is going to be a good one. Westminster Christian taking care of business in North Central, 60-0. We have Colin DeBell I was talking about earlier. He has a touchdown pass, a reception for a touchdown, kickoff return for a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Man, what else did Colin DeBell not do? I gotta admit, that is a pretty good running. That sounds like, to me, that's a Gridiron Football Player of the Week stat line right there. You get a touchdown pass, you get a touchdown catch, a kickoff return for a touchdown, 2 interceptions. What else did he do? Did he drive the bus there? Did he drive it back? Did he call a couple of plays on the sidelines? Did he did a halftime performance? That was a one-man show there for Colin DeBetta. That is for certain. They won the football game, by the way, 49-21. We can go into our scoreboard here. 1 second, guys. See, appreciate everybody that's commenting. If you have a comment, feel free to comment below. I love to address the comments. We had a couple of coaches come on the show early. We might have some more coaches as we go through the rest of the show. We usually maybe about an average about 4 coaches a show. But this is it's been fun. Obviously I'm going to give you some highlights of those games, but I've called 2 games. I called one on Thursday night, called one tonight, and still talking high school football on the Halloween night. What can get better than that? But let's go through some of the scores around the state of Louisiana. Is our Louisiana High School scoreboard here when we pull that up for y'all guys. And then once again, if you have a comment that you want to comment, feel free to put it in there, and I'll go over that game as you saw some of the comments here below. And I'll make sure to also share your comment as well. And that's what we want to try to do on the show. All right, guys, here we go. Welsh gets a 59-20 win tonight over Lake Arthur. So it's been a tough couple of games after a strong start this season for Lake Arthur. Let's see what else we got here. We have LaGrange and Iowa. Iowa, they're undefeated as well. That's another team to talk about when we talk about being undefeated at 9-0, a team that's going to be really dangerous when the playoffs come aboard. 51-0 over LaGrange. Let's see what else we have. Amite with a 47-0 win over Springfield. Amite has been on a roll as of late. Let's see here. We have Acadiana Renaissance with a 32-29 win over Bo Shin. Big win for Acadiana Renaissance. Vermilion Catholic kind of find their stride right now. They win tonight 56-0 over Gaydon. We have Kinder with we just talked to Coach Reed. They win the football game 58-12 over Port Barry. We have Bonneville. They get a win 56-12 over West Jefferson tonight. Cecilia found a way to win that football game tonight, 26-20. Cecilia, trying to see. I'm going to try to see how they won that football game tonight, 26-20. So they had a Braylon Calais, who's a highly recruited player for the Cecilia Bulldogs. He had a block punt. It's been a back and forth. You got to get credit to Livonia for staying in that football game because of Cecilia's pedigree. But Cecilia able to get enough done on the scoreboard, 26-20, to pull out a victory over Livonia. This is the game that everybody's going to talk about. This was like the top game in the state of Louisiana. Basically for bragging rights, not only for the Catholic League, but probably bragging rights for who the best team in the state of Louisiana is. And it looks like it's the Endicott Cougars. And until somebody knocks them off, they are the number one team. Endicott, I think they jumped out to a 21-0 lead and then just never relinquished it. I think it was 35-20. At that point, it's tough for – even though John Curtis was able to put up some points tonight, it's tough to play from behind in that split back veer offensive attack for John Curtis. And when Endicott was able to get ahead by a couple of touchdowns, it made it really tough for John Curtis to come back. But we have to say, Bryce Brown, man, is building a dynasty. If he's not already built it, he's not in the process of building it. He's already built a dynasty, and he's just tacking on, kind of taking one of the playbook right from JT Curtis and how they've been, building and how he's built a dynasty at John Curtis. And he's like, that's the thing with Endicott, man. It seems like Bryce, as long as he stays there, he has a chance to. I'm not sure if he's going to get to that level that JT Curtis had, but he's going to make a hell of a run at it. I can tell you that. And this team, man, well coached, athletic. I don't think there's a team with as much athletes as Endicott has, and you just see it out there on the football field. 48-26, Endicott, Catholic League champions, has a chance to number one seed. Once again, Elton tonight. Congratulations to McKeown Lemoyne tonight. He won the state's leading rushers, over 2,000 yards rushing on the season for the Indians. Congratulations to McKeown. I know it's a guy that we've followed a whole lot here at Gridiron Football. They won tonight 50-35 over Grand Lake. Delcom gets a 14-12 victory over Houma Christian tonight. Bel Air blanks Terra tonight, 38-0 over the Terra Trojans. We have the Lakeshore Titans. They get a 42-14 win over Archbishop Hannon. Lakeshore Brent Indes gets the victory over Hannon. Remember, earlier today it was announced that Grayson Dupree was our Gridiron Football Player of the Week for week number 8. So go and check that out. Got a chance to interview Grayson and Coach Soper. So go check that interview out. It's at gridironfootballusa.com. And if you're on their YouTube channel, make sure to check out that game too. Let's see. Forfeit. West St. John gets the victory off of forfeit against Crescent City. West Washita gets a 41-31 win over Peabody. So West Washita, the Chiefs get the win. West Feliciana blanks McKinley tonight, 49-0 over McKinley. So good win for Coach Miner and the West Feliciana Saints. Brother Martin they edged out. It's tough in the Catholic League to win, but Brother Martin gets the victory tonight, 32-27 over Warren Easton. We have Vinton gets a 43-14 win over East Beauregard. We have Bunkie getting the shutout tonight, 60-0 over Vidalia. Bunkie, great bounce back win for them after the loss last week to Gina. So there we go, 60-0 over Vidalia. U High gets a 14-8 victory over Madison Prep. I'm going to talk about that game a little bit more as we head deeper into the show tonight, because that was the game I called tonight on Varsity Sports Now. I'll show some highlights from that game. We'll talk about that game, the two games I covered for VSN over the weekend. But U High gets revenge over Madison Prep. Remember that game last year. Madison Prep won that football game to win the 6-3A district championships 14-6. Now that score kind of flipped around. This time it's U High 14-8. U High gets their revenge on kind of like their revenge tour. Remember how things ended last year of them not being able to have a chance to play for the state championship, for the playoffs. They really got that opportunity, and U High taking some frustration out. But that was a heck of a football game. I'll talk more about that game as we wrap up the show tonight with some highlights. Union Parish gets another win off a forfeit against Magnolia School of Excellence tonight. We have St. Charles Catholic. They get a win tonight, 50-7 over Kenner Discovery. St. Charles Catholic looking pretty sharp right now to be that number one seed. And we'll go over playoff seedings as well right now as we conclude week 9. But 50-7, St. Charles Catholic, 50-7, looking pretty good right now for that number one seed in Division III Select. How about Vanderbilt Catholic? Still undefeated, 21-18, and I believe Vanderbilt Catholic next week has South Terrebonne. It has Edie White. So that will be a really great sign, to see where exactly this Vanderbilt Catholic team is. They are really good. You can't just go 9-0 and sleepwalk your way to 9-0, but it's going to be really good telling to see how good this team really is and how deep they can go, depending on how they look against, a prideful program in E.D. White. And obviously E.D. White was in the state championship game in that bracket a year ago. So, but hey, Vanderbilt Catholic keeps their undefeated season alive, 21-18. The Willow School, the Willow School is having itself a sneaky, really good season right now, as they are, I believe, 6-3 on the season, or maybe 7-2. I gotta go check, but the Willow School is having a great season this year with a 54-7 win over Sarah T. Reed tonight, and we talked about already the Acadiana score of 7-2 for the Willow School, 54-7 tonight. Actually, might talk to maybe a couple coaches as we go throughout the show. 49-21, as that comment was made earlier. Obviously, a great showing. You see the comment here from DRNO. Let's see, Colin DeBetta. Like you mentioned, did a lot of things in that Sam Houston game. You had a touchdown pass, a touchdown catch, a kickoff return for a touchdown as well. So he did a lot of good things there for the Canadian Wrecking Rams. Are playing some really good football right now. Okay, let's see. We got Hammond. Hammond gets a win tonight over Salmon, 40-20 here tonight. Good win for Coach Dorset Buckles and the Hammond Tornadoes. Ruston bouncing back. Remember, they had that loss to Alexandria, but they bounced back in a big way over Pineville, 56-6. It was all Ruston Bearcats in that one. Riverside Academy, they defeat Varno 56-8 tonight over Varno. Riverside Academy looking really strong. I mean, seeing them early in the year, they got a veteran quarterback, a really good offensive attack. They can make things really interesting in the playoffs, and they can definitely one shot. I mean, they make a run. Red River looking strong this season. They get a 58-36 win over Winfield tonight. Rain gets a victory over North Vermilion, a high-scoring shootout there, 57-43 over North Vermilion. And then there was a score that Roman was at tonight, 49-24. San Mall will improve to 7-2 with one more game, and that's going to be a good one between San Mall and Denham Springs to conclude the regular season. How about a big win there for Ponchatoula? It's been kind of a struggle for them, but that's an upset, man. Ponchatoula getting a win 24-14 over Covington. A huge shout out to the Green Wave getting the victory tonight. Once again, your final score there, 24-14. And then how about this rivalry? This is always going to be a close one. St. Paul's able to get the victory tonight, 31-24 over Mandeville. We have a really big win for Coach Sears and company for the St. Paul's Wolves. And let's see where that gets them now as we go to Division I Select. And we'll go over power rankings later in the show as well. But that puts them at, I believe, 7-2 with that win over Mandeville. Ville Platte gets a 38-0 win as well. We got a comment. Who won, STM or Turlings Catholic? Well, I tell you what, Pastor Kelly, if you are a Turlings Catholic fan, you are feeling really good about yourself because that was a proven game to show you how good you are. They've had some impressive wins this year, but I do know Turlings Catholic did win the football game, and not only they won the football game, they won it pretty convincingly. I think it was 38-14. I'm going to try to double check to make sure, but I knew Turlings Catholic won the game tonight. I'm going to get a double check on the score, Pastor Kelly, but let's see. Yep, final score. Turlings Catholic 38, St. Thomas More 14. That is your final score, and that will be a team that we're going to talk about. How about Turlings Catholic? You're definitely welcome, Pastor Kelly, for sure. That was a huge win for Turlings Catholic. Alex Munoz, their quarterback, is a playmaker, running the football, throwing the football. If that name rings a bell, his dad was part of that 2019 LSU national championship staff. He was an offensive analyst for that team, behind Steve Ensminger, behind Joe Brady. That staff. He was on that coaching staff. And he was also the associate head coach for the Raging Cajuns right now. But talk about coach's son, right? But they are well coached offensively, defensively. Michael Corville. Once again, you have a son of a coach at quarterback. You got a son of a coach as your head coach, and Michael Corville, his dad, Tony Corville. Obviously a state championship winning coach at Carencro. So, huge win and Turlings is legit. They're really good offensively, really good offensive line, really good quarterback. Defense is really sound. Like they're going to be a tough out in Division I for sure. But they made a statement tonight, 38-14. I'm sure that score is going to pop up on the scoreboard, but that was your final score tonight. Ville Platte gets a 38-0 win over Pine Prairie. We have St. James with a shutout over Patterson, 57-0. Big win there for the St. James Wildcats. We have Oakdale losing 28-2 to Avoyelles. Avoyelles is next up. We talked to Coach Reed over there at Kinder on the show, and this is going to be a proven type of game, in Week 10. Against Avoyelles, because if you're not at your sharpest, Avoyelles can trip you up, and Avoyelles is going to be a tough outing for Kinder, but that should be a great game, a huge regular season game in Week 10. We talked about that earlier on the show. St. Mary's gets a 59-20 win over Northwood Alena tonight. We have. I'm not sure that's your final score. It just says fourth quarter. But right here, if somebody has an updated score, then they can report it. But that is what I see, 26-12, Westgate over Northside. But either way, looks like that Westgate is in command there, win or if that was just the score in the fourth quarter. This is a big win for St. Helena. Remember, St. Helena got a win earlier this year against East Louisiana, and I've seen North Lake Christian earlier this year. I call a lot of Episcopal games. They got a really great running back in Cam Casnave, and St. Helena has been able to trip some teams this year, and they did just that again. They did that against North Lake Christian, which is a good football team. Great win for the Hawks for St. Helena. A little bit of an upset, but great win there for St. Helena. Give them a lot of kudos there. Homer gets a 62-30 win over North Caddo. We know Homer is going to be in that running there in Division 4. I talked to Coach Collins actually off air, trying to see if we can get him on air. But I did talk to him off air, and Coach Collins, he's like, every week's a Tuesday, right? Every week's gonna be a tough one, man, in that 258 district. But what a win from Mike Collins and Neville tonight, 22-19 over West Monroe. Remember, West Monroe was one of the hottest teams in the state. There's not a lot of teams with as good of a resume as what West Monroe has, right? Because they win. They beat Catholic. I mean, they beat Ash, and this time around, Neville. You just have to be ready every week in that 258 district. Remember, Neville defeated Ouachita last week, 38-37. You have to earn it. It's like the SEC. I mean, there's no gimmies there in that 258 district, but 22-19, Neville gets it done. Huge win there for Coach Collins. And they found a way to hold on. And, hey, you got to be in playoff mode every single week, especially, in that district. And I think it's going to really help all these teams, Neville, Ruston, Ash, West Monroe, Ouachita. I mean, it's going to help all those teams for sure on the long run. Manny gets the win tonight, 28-12 over North Webster. Mangum, 67-28 over Rayville tonight. So big win there. How about North DeSoto? That was a big game. And I think Coach Dunn was actually on the show, I think, when I was talking to Coach Standiford. I'm trying to get Coach Dunn back on to see if he will talk with us. But that's a big win for sure. I mean, Loyola Prep was undefeated. They were playing really good football. Bryce Resovich. And I know Bryce's dad sent me his stats tonight. I'm sure he went off. I'm sure he had himself a great game. Let's see here. Yeah, Bryce went 28 for 43, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Their offense is really good. Loyola College Prep's offense is really good. North DeSoto is really good. Luke Delafield is their quarterback, and he is really good. You got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana. It's just going to be one of those games. What defenses are going to get the stops? It was going to be that type of football game. And it was just the fact that North DeSoto got enough stops. And that's all they needed, right? But, man, big win. North DeSoto, only 1 loss on the season. Actually, I think they're undefeated too. I believe they're undefeated as well. So they got a win earlier this year against West Monroe, and that was early in the year. But this has come to show you that North DeSoto is legit. They are for real, and they got themselves a big win tonight. We'll see if we can get Coach Dunn on the show. But huge win for North DeSoto tonight, and one of the games to keep an eye on throughout the state of Louisiana. 63-49, North DeSoto with a huge win, a statement win over the Flyers, and the Flyers on the undefeated season is over tonight. Franklinton gets a 20-7 win over Larangers, so the Demons able to hold off on the Laranger Wolves tonight. 20-7, your final score. If anybody has an update on this game, please let me know. It says 7-0. Let's see. It says 7-0 fourth quarter. I'm going to see if that was actually the final score here tonight. If anybody had, let's say 40 minutes ago. So this is actually not updated. Livingston Collegiate 28, Sophie B. Wright 8. So that is your final score. Yeah, and talk about Mr. Wallace, right? Talking about Ian's dad. He's a starting center at Loyola Prep. Heck of a game. Flyers put on a heck of a fight. Yeah, I mean, that really told me a lot about Loyola College Prep too, because they were undefeated, but this was going to be a kind of a measuring stick game. You got, North DeSoto. You have Dennis Dunn. You have Luke Delafield. It seemed like he's been playing 10 years at the quarterback position. I remember covering him in the state championship game when he was a freshman leading the Griffins. But this is a great measuring stick. And I think this taught me a whole lot, or showed me, at least the score did, show me a whole lot about both teams, about especially all college prep. And they're still legit. I mean, I think they're going to be a team that can make a run at the Dome. They can really make a run in their bracket. And you look at North DeSoto, right? They defeated West Monroe, but that was early in the season. That was before West Monroe really found their groove. And this was didn't really have another big chance to really show how good they were as far as like statewide. And this was the opportunity to show it. And they did. They found a way. I knew this was going to be that type of game. Luke Delafield, Kenny Thomas, North DeSoto, with Dennis Dunn, a Dennis Dunn team, they were going to get their plays. They were going to score and move the football and make their plays. But I had confidence that Loyola College Prep was going to move the ball too, and they're going to get their plays, and they're going to move the ball down the field. It was just going to come down to what defense was going to make the stop or enough stops. But yeah, absolutely. Lewis Wallace says, I think Loyola can make a legit run. Kenny is fast. Yeah, he is really fast. Really one of the best running backs out there in the state of Louisiana. And that's what makes them legit, right? It's not just you got a good quarterback, but you can run the football. This is not just like a heavy passing attack all the time. Like they can run the football too and mix things up. But Loyola can definitely make a legit run. We're going to talk about on the show after it seemed like we kind of quiet down with coaches coming on, but we're going to show the playoff. We're going to try to show the playoff standings as well before event tonight over the next hour. So we got about another hour with you guys before we wrap things up. We'll end things here tonight at 12:30 tonight. And I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Appreciate all the comments. We've had a lot of comments so far. So appreciate everybody that's commenting in. If you have any more questions or comments about your teams, feel free, and we'll address those as well. I'm not sure if there's an updated score with Plain Dealing Lincoln Prep. Let's see if I can find something on that. Plain Dealing Lincoln Prep. It says 0-0. Don't really have an updated score there. But if anybody does, feel free to chime in. But I don't have an updated score right there. Logansport defeats LaSalle 42-8 tonight. Big win for Coach McGee and the Tigers. We have Montgomery. They get a win over Lakeview tonight, 46-14. Mansfield 39-0 over Lakeside tonight. We have a Notre Dame, big win for Notre Dame. I did see the score. This score did jump out to me when seeing the final score in reaction to that. But Notre Dame gets a big win. That's really big for the playoff seedings as well, because both these two teams are pretty high. But Notre Dame gets a 38-19 win over Lafayette Renaissance. Lewis Wallace will catch the whole show on our drive tomorrow. Ian has a school visit tomorrow. Have a good evening, Jay. So I appreciate it. I know you've been a loyal listener, Mr. Wallace. I really appreciate it. So, and just in case y'all know or didn't know, we made an announcement. We won't have the Gridiron announcement posts pretty soon on our website, but Lewis says if you catch it on one of our shows, Going Bowling, we talk about the bowl game. But Lewis's son Ian, just want to say he has committed. He's going to play in our Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game at the end of the year in December at Louisiana Christian University. That is going to be a great opportunity for him and a lot of players to showcase what they can do in front of a lot of really great players across not only the state of Louisiana, but throughout the entire southern region as well. It's a great opportunity to showcase what you can do in front of college coaches. So I can't wait. I can't wait for the bowl game to come up. The only downside about the bowl game, it's like the end of the high school football season, and that's what I dread the most, man. But really looking forward for that opportunity. All right, so let's see. We hear Plaquemine. I think that score, I think I just got a notification there. Yes, so your final score, that is not updated. Plaquemine 58, Estruma 12. So that is your final score. I guess that was like the fourth quarter score, but Plaquemine final score tonight 58-12 over Estruma. And Plaquemine, I believe they only have one loss on the season, and that was, let's see what that was against. That was against Zachary. Yep, I believe so. Against Zachary earlier this year. Iota gets a 48-0 win over Mamu tonight. We have Independence getting a 41-7 win over St. Thomas Aquinas. We talked to Coach Marcus Scott earlier this year, and we talked to Marcus Scott earlier this year on her show. And they've been really good, man, over the last couple of games. This was a huge game in the district. Anytime you have that rivalry, right, between Destrehan and Hahnville, it means a lot over there in the river parishes. And Destrehan gets the win tonight, 49-28 over Hahnville. I get a comment as well from Miss Jessica Gaucher. Avoyles, we just talked about Avoyles, Miss Gaucher, earlier on the show when we had the coach of your next opponent coming up, and that is Kinder. We talked to Coach Reed on the show, and this is like I said when talking to Coach Reed, this Avoyles can play spoiler, right? Now Avoyles is going to make the playoffs, and they have a lot of goals ahead of them in terms of the playoffs, but they can play spoiler because Kinder's looking for an undefeated season. They are 9-0, have a chance to go. I missed it. Yes, man. Well, you missed the interview with Coach Reed, the coach of the next team you're going to be playing against. As Kinder is 9-0, I know Avoyles likes to play spoiler because Coach Reed was talking about how big of a game this is going to be and for their program and the program's history, have a chance to go 10-0. And Avoyles can play spoiler. They could spoil the party next week, but they get the job done. I believe it was 28-2. That's the score I saw, Miss Gaucher. You can confirm with me if that was what the score was tonight. But 28-2 over Oakdale is what I saw. All right, let's see. Tioga, man. This is after Kervin Johnson committed to LSU. So I'm sure y'all heard the story, but Tioga has a 3-star receiver, Kervin Johnson. He was committed to Louisiana Tech, and he actually got an offer by LSU on Saturday, and he committed to the Tigers, ironically enough, after Brian Kelly got fired. I thought that was interesting, but he did commit to LSU, and I don't really go into it that much, but you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But everybody's going to talk about that because of the timing that he committed to LSU after Kelly got fired. But I think it's just a Louisiana guy gets an offer from his dream school at LSU, and you're just jumping on the opportunity. You want to commit to LSU, and how cool that is. But he's been a huge reason why Tioga's been putting up a lot of numbers this year. Case Malone, the quarterback for Tioga, has put up plenty gaudy numbers. By talking to their coach earlier this year, they said they're going to put up points and they want to make it fun. They've been doing that, and they've been winning football games while they're at it. 75-20, man. This is not basketball, Coach Dan. This is football, right? But Tioga scored a lot of points tonight, 75-20 over Grant. St. Frederick, That's his fourth quarter. It says 49-32 over General Trask. If that's updated, we can look at it even more. But looks like St. Frederick took care of business. Franklin Parish took care of business, 49-6 over Wassman tonight. Big win for Coach Burnett and the Patriots. Loreauville gets a 36-20 win over Franklin. Good win there for the Tigers. We have North Shore gets a 42-19 win over Fontainebleau tonight. How about Ouachita Christian? This is a big matchup against Faraday. That's a tough district out there in 2A. But Ouachita Christian gets a big win this week. They got a big win last week. And I believe they played – who they played last week? It was a big win. I think it was Mangum. Yep, it was Mangum. And Ouachita Christian follows it up. Against a good team. A team in Faraday that's really talented that can make a run in the playoffs too. And Ouachita Christian gets a win tonight. They're looking pretty good. As far as trying to achieve maybe a district championship as well. I think they got Oak Grove following in the regular season. I got to check on that. Leesville gets this is a squeaker, man. 36-34 over Eunice. But Leesville gets the win tonight, 36-34. That is your final score tonight as the Wampus Cats and Coach Causey get the job done. Carver edges out East St. John tonight, 21-19. Good win there for the Carver Rams. DeRitter gets a 48-16 win tonight over Washington Marion. So the DeRitter Dragons get a win tonight. Not so good of a night there for Andy Bryson's Rose Pine Eagles, 33-18, losing to the Quincy. While we're on that subject, guys, make sure to give your thoughts and prayers to Andy, our boss here at Gridiron Football, the CEO of Gridiron Football, the reason why we do all this, man. Just give your thoughts and prayers out there for Andy. I know he had a back surgery last week. And he's still in the hospital right now. I think he's kind of more worried about Kristen and his kids. But he does a lot for the high school kids, for the kids. Obviously with the bowl game, and he has a great heart. So make sure to comment. Just give him thoughts and prayers because of what he's going through right now. I think he needs it. So nothing too drastic. I think it's just dealing with headaches and migraines and right now. So we know he's going to be back stronger than ever. But just continue to keep we appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that have going his way. I appreciate Miss Gaucher as well. I'm sending prayers to Andy. But I know he's coming back. So make sure just to give him some thoughts and prayers over his way on his Facebook page. And, so he's going to recover. He's doing better. He's doing better already. Hopefully, they get him out the hospital this weekend. That's kind of what we're hoping for. We're hoping good news there. But give your thoughts and prayers to Andy. I think he would really appreciate that. Haynesville gets a 51-7 win over Darbone, which chartered tonight. Haynesville, man, looking good in the Division 4 non-select. Trying to get back to the Superdome once again. Northwest has been playing some better football. And, man, when they get hot at the right time, we saw what they can do. Just a couple of years ago, they were a low seed, and they went all the way to the semifinals. So watch out as far as if you want a team that can make a run, that can get into like the quarterfinals, the semifinals, can make a run at that level. Watch out for Northwest. Lake Charles Prep gets a 56-14 win over Como tonight. We have Church Point getting a win 24-7 over Holy Savior Menard. Covenant Christian, they got I believe a dramatic win last week, but 46-0 over Centerville. We have Cedar Creek over Arcadia, 46-8, big win for Cedar Creek, and that was a score. I know Pastor Dane was talking about that. Pastor Kelly was talking about that score. That was the score, 38-14, Trojans Catholic. And, man, that really confirmed it. I covered Trojans Catholic last week, their win against East Ascension. Was really impressed by their physicality, was really impressed by their quarterback, Alex Munoz, and their defense. And they are really good for sure. Trojans Catholic's on the roll to beat a team like St. Thomas More with championship pedigree, and St. Thomas More, I think they're going to finish, 7-3 this year. But don't count out St. Thomas More as well. But that showed me a lot about Trojans Catholic, because I think that was a hurdle over the years for Trojans to overcome, and I think that's what really sold me on Trojans Catholic, is to get a win like that. To get over the hump, a team that you've had struggle in the past trying to beat and trying to overcome that hurdle. Well, that win for Trojans Catholic really showed a lot, and that was a big win for Coach and Trojans Catholic to get the win 38-14. Pastor Kelly, check out DJ Kelly. That's right, DJ Kelly Jr., Ascension Episcopal, so Blue Gator quarterback, receiver, number 8. Northwestern commit, 9-0 district champion over the Westminster Christian in Lafayette. So, we're definitely going to be checking on him. I can tell you that for sure. Ascension Episcopal is always a really great program over there. The Blue Gators, Northwestern commit. He's doing things like that, Pastor Kelly, and he's only a junior. I'm kind of curious how long that Northwestern commitment is going to last, But I'm a great player over there for the Blue Gators, and another team, man, that's kind of fun. It's kind of crazy to think that's flying on the radar right now. That's not 9-0, but that's just how it is. But the Blue Gators are going to be a team to not overlook. And you always have a playmaker that can make plays. And high school football under center, you got a great chance. And the Blue Gators definitely do. So we'll definitely check out and follow DJ Kelly. I appreciate that. Appreciate that comment. Any more comments, any more suggestions, any questions? I definitely want to interact with you guys. So we're going to be here for another 45 minutes. So make sure to throw in your comments here. Sterlington gets a 49-6 win over Carroll. Sterlington, another team, man, the defending state champions. So just watch out right there, trying to make another run at Dome. Marksville gets a 20-0 win over Buckeye. We have Booker T. Washington, 62-16 over Southwood tonight. St. Edmund, we talked to Coach Shiver on the show last week. And St. Edmund gets a 48-0 win over Bolton tonight. St. Edmund, they're really motivated in trying to win a district championship at the end of the season. Opelousas Catholic knows the team they lost to this year, 46-6 over Birchman's Academy. 46-6 win for the Vikings. Delhi Charter gets a 38-25 win over Beekman Charter. 38-25, your final score there. How about the Bar Buccaneers? They put on Sulphur. Sulphur going through a coaching change right now. So we'll see how that coaching surge is going to happen over the off season. But Barb gets a 55-10 win over the Golden Tours of Sulphur. East Feliciana gets a 28-9 win over the Baker Buffaloes tonight. So East Feliciana, team that I've covered for Episcopal. And East Feliciana looking really strong, trying to end the season on a strong note. We have, if there's an updated score, I'm going to try to see Edie White. That says 27-0, fourth quarter. I'm trying to see if there's any updated score. Edie White and Assumption. Let's see here. Nothing that I know of, but we're going to go at least off of this score, 27-0 in the fourth quarter over Assumption. Either way, Edie White looks like they're on the roll to a win. Ascension Episcopal, you talked about it, Pastor Kelly. Perfect timing there, right? 49-21, and a big reason, we're talking about Pastor Kelly, DJ Kelly Jr., right? for Ascension Episcopal Northwest commitment. And a big reason why the Blue Gators are 9-0 district champions. And that's a really good Westminster Christian Lafayette football team for sure. Coach Gable's doing a great job over there for the Chargers, but huge win there for the Blue Gators. How about some Catholic League action? Rummel, it was a close one. They had to survive, but a win is a win, and you're going to take that 10 out of 10 times in the Catholic League. 21-17 over Jesuit. Rummel looking great this year. Ash, I feel kind of bad for Ouachita. Ouachita's been in a lot of close games. They've just been on the losing end on a lot of these, but they played hard. And right now, I'm trying to see what their overall record is, but I'm talking about Division I non-select. They are 5-4. They might be the best 5-4 team in the state of Louisiana. They've lost some close ones to some really good football teams. But Ouachita is definitely going to be a sleeper. Airline gets a 48-17 win over C.E. Bird. How about St. Martinville? They get win number 3 on the season, 50-40 over Abbeville tonight. We have Oak Grove. They win pretty convincingly here tonight, 69-0 over Madison. Oak Grove continue to pour it on. They got a big win. I think it was like 13-6 against Faraday last week, and they followed up with a there wasn't really a hangover from that big win last week. Oak Grove gets it done. Pensacola, I know they won that game. I think it was like 44-6. I'm going to see here. Pensacola Catholic. Yeah, Delhi actually made the drive over to Pensacola for this football game. Out of state. But all I know is Pensacola did win this football game pretty convincingly. If any updated scores, you can go and report it. But Pensacola Catholic takes care of business. McDonald 35 wins 26-20 over Frederick Douglass. Jules Sumner, another undefeated team, has a chance to end things on a high note. Have a chance to go undefeated in Week 10. 42-0 win over Albany. What a special season the Cowboys are having in Kentwood. Jules Sumner. Live Oak, man, they've been putting up a lot of points this year. Wins, losses. They've been an exciting team to watch. I can guarantee you that. 74-30 over J.S. Clark. They really put it on the Bulldogs, and they're really fun to watch. Cash Davis, a really talented wide receiver. They have one of the best receivers, Calvin Urson, as well. They got a really great quarterback, too. They are really fun to watch, man, at Live Oak. And their offense is as fun as anybody out there in the state of Louisiana. St. Martin's Episcopal gets a 29-6 win tonight over Glen Oaks. Gina, remember they got the big win last week. No hangover there. After the big win over Bunkie, they take care of business against Caldwell Parish, 46-6 tonight. How about this game Thursday night? Central 35, Zachary 33. That was a crazy game. Central able to hold on the Broncos. Central still really good this year. Obviously, maybe not as good as last year's team. And what can you expect, though? That team went to the state championship. But Max Gassett had 2 touchdowns as well. Shane Brown had himself a great game. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground running the football. And there was a lot of big-time plays in that football game. But 35-33, Central, the Wildcats, get the job done in that game over Zachary. Wild finish, but that's what we expect from 2 of the marquee teams, marquee programs in that district. But what a win for Coach Semino and the Wildcats to beat Zachary. And I believe that is Zachary's second loss. And Zachary, I think that's 2 losses or back-to-back loss. No, 2 losses like 3 weeks because they did lose that Liberty game as well. So let's see. Hamilton Christian still undefeated. 9-0. I know that Roman got a chance to talk to Javon Vital, so check that interview out. Obviously, one of the top players in the 2027 class in the state of Louisiana. 54-6, Hamilton Christian gets a win over Maryville. Newman gets a win over Country Day. That's a really explosive Country Day offense. So great job by Aaron Vice's defense to stymie that Country Day offense. 42-14 for the Newman Greenies tonight. This has been East Ascension, man. I mean, it's been interesting every single week. You never know what you're going to get. But they did a great job bouncing back. They played Turlings Catholic, and we know what kind of really good team Turlings Catholic is this year. But East Ascension, they've won some games like this. Remember, they defeated Sam Mall on a 2-point conversion attempt to win that rivalry game against Sam Mall. But this time they won another nail biter tonight, 30-28 over Dutchtown. So the East Ascension Spartans get the job done tonight. Man, Ascension Catholic, Trevin Simon and company over there for the Bulldogs. Give a shout out to Troy LaBeouf over there at Ascension Catholic. They've been on the roll as of late. Whatever happened after that loss, that 42-7, maybe it was just me showing up to the game. I guarantee it. Maybe I just brought bad mojo to Coach James' team over there at Ascension Catholic. But at the same time, I mean, I did call the game against Episcopal as well for them, and they took care of business against Episcopal. So maybe it's not all my fault. But 72-21, I think Trevin Simon had 6 touchdowns. Like, his touchdowns, he has to be up there in terms of the state of Louisiana in rushing touchdowns this year. But another big-time performance from him individually. But overall, the team played really great, 72-21. And I think Ascension Catholic moves to 7-2 on the season, chance to win the district championship. Big win, I gotta say. Shout out to Coach Lowell Northeast. That's a huge win for that Thibodaux program. And talk about a team, a guy that might be up for Coach of the Year this year. It might be Lowell Northeast. So what he's doing in his first year over there at Thibodaux. And I think they've only lost 2 games this year, but this is a really good team. You know, Tyler Lewis has built a really great program over there at Terrebonne. A lot of talent on that football team, and Thibodaux finds a way to win that football game, 27-21. Huge victory for Coach Northeast in his first year coaching the Tigers, 27-21 over Terrebonne. That's definitely a game that really stood out. Let's see, moving on. We talked about those scores. Bruley hangs on. They get a 27-24 win over St. Michael tonight. We have St. John. Great season for St. John. Got to give a shout out to the St. John Eagles. They moved to 6-3. Have a great chance to go 7-3 this year, and that's a great step in the right direction for Coach Tro, Coach Trosclair. Give a shout out to my dad. He's actually the offensive coordinator at St. John. 39-13 win over Ascension Christian. South Lafourche won the football game 38-7. And I think their quarterback, Joshua Mack, he set, I think, school records over there at South Lafourche. And I want to give a shout out to Josh. I know he's submitted to play in our bowl game. But congratulations to him. Setting a single season record, and I think the all-time touchdown pass record, which if you are familiar with South Lafourche, Bobby Hebert, you know, talking about like the Cajun Cannon, like South Lafourche, that's a lot of his records he broke. Star Charter wins tonight, 35. I think it might have been a Thursday score, 35-0 over. I think these are a lot of Thursday scores here. 35-0 over Broadmoor. Pearl River gets a 35-21 win over Pope John Paul. We have, if you missed it earlier in the show, when the show was done and we wrap things up in the next 30 minutes, you can go back and watch this interview. But I appreciate Coach Standiford for coming on the show. If you missed that interview, go check that out. We talked to Coach Standiford about his win, a huge win over Evangel Christian Academy, 24-22. A hyped-up game. Be honest with you, if I didn't have a game to call on Thursday, that would have been the game I would have gone to and covered for Gridiron. But The defense stepped up, made a play at the end. Luke Green comes up with a big stick, the forced fumble. It was a 2-point game at that point, and Luke Green made a huge hit on the goal line, preserved the 24-22 win for LCA. And there might not be a team with as good of a resume as what LCA in that tough schedule this year. They play in a tough district. They play a tough non-district schedule, and they are 8-1 and the number one team in their bracket right now with one more game left to play in the regular season. 24-22, impressive win for Coach Stanford and the LCA Knights. Slidell, I heard they got a dramatic win on Thursday night over Chalmette, 36-28 over the Chalmette Owls. I think I could be wrong. It might have been in overtime, but it was a classic of a game, 36-28 over Chalmette. Let's see. I'm going to try to make sure to get this 36-28, but overtime. Yep, it was an overtime game. So Jaquan Jones ended up getting the game-winning touchdown and 2-point conversion, and Bryant Brown for Slidell able to get the interception in the end zone to end the football game and get a big win over the Chalmette Owls, 36-28, your final score one more time. Pine looks like they're playing back to really good football. They had a couple tough opponents. They had to play Amite, which I was at that football game. And then they had to play, Joel Sumner. That's some tough games on your schedule in your non-district. So that's a tough outing. But Pine takes care of business against Bogalusa, 65-16. Pickering gets a 32-28 win over Ringgold tonight. Good win there for the Pickering Red Devils over Ringgold. Parkway gets a 58-42 win over Benton. I believe Parkway is still undefeated. I think they're 9-0 under Coach Brotherton. Bazille gets a 35-8 win over Oberlin tonight. North Iberville bounces back after the loss last week to Ascension Catholic. They win tonight. They defeat East Iberville 40-8 to improve the record to 8-1. Natchitoches Central, good win there for Coach Brad Laird and the Chiefs, 33-14 tonight. Northwood of Shreveport, they're also having a great season, 42-0 over Minden. Lutcher wins big on Thursday, 53-8 over Morgan City. A big win for Coach Dwayne Jenkins. LB Landry defeats Booker T. Washington 41-0. Another shutout victory. Lafayette, the Lions, get a 42-0 win over New Iberia. Kentwood gets a 54-0 win over Thrive Academy. Jennings gets a 34-24 win over St. Louis Catholic for the Jennings Bulldogs. Parkview gets a 35-14 win over Mentorship Academy. Give a shout out to Coach Blankenship there. 18-14 win over Glenbrook for Coach Blank and the Jonesboro High Tigers. ERAF, undefeated again. Still, they are 9-0. Jack Landry, quarterback, committed to play in our bowl game at the end of the year. He's having a great senior season, leaving the Bobcats. They are still rolling and looking really good. 9-0, have a chance to go 10-0 next week. They get a 50-8 win over Kaplan. This is the game I called to on Thursday. I'm going to show you highlights from that game as well when we wrap up the show. But Dunham all over the Episcopal Knights, 42-7. The Dunham Tigers, seen them in person not only once but twice this year. I can tell you that they are legit. And remember, they were in the Dome last year. I truly believe this team is better than that team that went to the Dome last year. So watch out for the Dunham Tigers. They went convincingly 42-7 over the Episcopal Knights. Denham Springs A great game for the Goldman twins. I think you got Deshaun and Deshaun. The receiver I think, broke a single game record for touchdown catches in the game. And I think his brother had a record for touchdown passes. So not a bad outing there for the Goldman twins. And Denham Springs is looking really dangerous there in Division I. Southern Lab gets a 52-7 win over Central Private. Looks like Jerry Botley's back kind of in the fold there at quarterback, and you get him back healthy. I think Southern Lab can make a run as we go towards the playoffs. And I think they'll start to heat up at the right time. HL Bourgeois gets a 28-21 win over Central Lafourche. A squeaker, but HL Bourgeois holds on. Catholic Point Capite gets a 36-24 win over Sacred Heart. We have Catholic New Iberia. They get a 55-6 win over West St. Mary. Catholic High. They pull out my Catholic High Bears, my alum. Go Bears. 47-7 over Woodlawn on Thursday night. And how about this score really struck out to me as well? How about Jess Curtis and the Southside Sharks? 70-35 over Karen Crow. That score really stood out to me on Thursday. Big win for Jess Curtis. Karen Crow's a really good football team this year. Talk a lot about Carson Gursey, Chance Babineau. I give a lot of credit to the Sharks. 70-35. I mean, that was an eyebrow raiser. I can tell you that much. 70-35 over Karen Crow. How about Captain Shreve? They also have scored some points on the board. 65-44 over Houghton. Calvary gets a 38-20 win over Green Oaks. Bossier gets a 42-20 win over Woodlawn of Shreveport. Donaldsonville gets a 49-6 win over Berwick. How about Belle Chase? I think their only loss this year was against St. Charles Catholic, but besides that, Belle Chase is playing some really good football this season. 14-0 over Archbishop Shaw. Big win over the defending state champions in that Division II select playoffs. Richwood, give a shout out to JT. James Taylor over there, defensive coordinator at Richwood. A good defensive effort. Only giving up 6 points, JT. Really impressive. 36-6 over Bastrop here tonight. John Eric gets a 21-0 win over L.W. Higgins. We have Haynes Academy. They get a 47-35 win over Patrick Taylor. Good win there tonight for Coach P.J. Sprunk, another coach from the Gridiron Football All-American staff tonight. And then here are your JV scores. That has been your Louisiana High School Football scoreboard. And, man, we went through a lot. I can tell you that much. So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I'm going to go over the games I covered on Thursday and Friday. So I'll be Dunham and Episcopal, and then we'll talk about U High and Madison Prep, show you some of the highlights from those two specific games. So we're going to take another commercial break. Once again, you can see at the bottom of your screen, go to gotommies.com. That is basically the website to go to. GoTommies, G-E-A-U-X, Tommies.com, or give them a call, 225-250-8808. Go Tommies. You'll see the difference clearly. Won a lot of awards. Talk about the Angie's List Award. We talk about ever since 2017. They have won it 7 years in a row. If you want to go to the best, might as well call the best. Get your windows replaced, your doors replaced, siding, gutters, you name it. They could do it. Tommy and his crew can get it done. Make sure to go call Tommy's and get it done. Trust the exterior home improvement specialist. Call Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Windows, doors, and siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Welcome back, guys. This is Jace LeJeune along with Ballin in the Boot, Week 9 edition. And this week was a little bit of an interesting one for me, guys, as we wrap up Week 9. So here's kind of how my schedule really works, I guess, if you're anyway interested in this. But I also call games for Varsity Sports Now. Varsity Sports Now does an awesome job of live streaming games. And, it's a great keepsake because you can go back. If you're in one of these teams that get covered on VSN, you can go back, have a keepsake. You can actually download the game, put it on the flash drive, and watch the whole game. And I do this on the side, and I'm gracious for Andy for allowing me to do this. And also I'm gracious for VSN, for Eric Ritchie, Alon Elzy, I mean, their whole crew for allowing me to have the opportunity to do that as well. And it's just another way where I can promote high school football. And I had double duty. Usually I have one game, one day I'll go and cover a game for Gridiron Football, and the other day I'll go cover a game for Varsity Sports Now. Well, this week I had the opportunity to call 2 games this week, and I love calling games. I love calling high school games, and I had the opportunity to do that twice this week. And we're going to talk about the Thursday game first. I'll show you some highlights of that game as well from VSN. And we're going to talk about the Thursday game first, Dunham and Episcopal. Dunham won that football game 42-7, and the game could have gone a lot worse. Episcopal this year, we talk about Dunham and Episcopal, that game has always been pretty much down to the district championship in 8-2A. And the last couple of years it's been Dunham. They have a quarterback that everybody knows about. Number 1 quarterback in the 2027 class, Elijah Haven, who is legit. He is the real deal. He is as good as they come. There's not a lot of guys out there that's built like him that can make all the throws from all the different angles. He's as talented as they come. But when people think of Dunham, they think of Elijah Haven, and deservedly so. But this team is just really good, man. Not only is Elijah good, but to be honest with you, I was more impressed with their defense, and that's saying a whole lot. Their defense, we talked about Ascension Catholic, right, and how they've been scoring a lot of points this year. Trevin Simon has been doing his thing this year for the Bulldogs, but Dunham really did a great job of slowing them down, containing that running game. They only gave up 7 points to Ascension Catholic, and looking ahead, I think I look back for game prep for that game, and Dunham outscored their opponents 244-13 ever since they lost that football game to St. Charles Catholic. And we had Coach Wayne Stein on the show for St. Charles Catholic in that football game. And it's been a different Dunham team. Talked to Coach Weiner before the game and in our pregame talk. And it's just like this team is just defensively, they've been really quick. They do a great job rallying to the football. Offensively, everybody knows about Elijah Haven, but they got some stud receivers. And Coach Weiner talked about their unselfishness, because all these guys can probably play somewhere at the next level. And they're all really good receivers. They can probably play at other schools and really be big-time difference makers for those schools. But you have about 5 of them. And Jarvis Washington is the South Alabama commit. Richard Montgomery is a star. He also had a punt return for a touchdown. He has Antonio Brown impersonation. He tried to hurdle a Episcopal guy and actually kicked him in the face while doing so. I thought that was pretty funny. But that game was pretty much dominated all 3 phases, offensively, defensively, special teams. Episcopal has been playing their best football. It's been a little bit of a rebuilding year defensively. Offensively, you return some guys on the offensive line, and Zach Hughes as your quarterback. And the offense has been pretty good this year. But the defense was kind of vulnerable at the beginning of the season because you replaced your whole defense. But they've gotten better over the course of the season. You've seen progress, but you knew that was going to be tested against the Dunham Tigers. Dunham jumped out to a big lead and called off the Dogs there. But Dunham looks like on their way to another district championship for the Tigers. I believe this will be, I think, their 4th district title in a row, calling the Episcopal games for 5 years. They defeated Dunham that first game, but it's been all Dunham the last couple of years. But congratulations to Coach Weiner. The Dunham Tigers, they dominated this football game 42-7, and they actually led 42-0 at halftime. It was totally dominated by the Dunham Tigers, but the Tigers, they moved to, I believe, 8-1 on the season with their lone loss against St. Charles Catholic. Episcopal has a chance to even the record, though, next week at 5-5, which you told me that at the beginning of the season. I'd say it's a win. Going 5-5, the team's gotten a lot better over the rest of the season. But here are some highlights from that game. This is Episcopal, and this is Dunham. 42-7. Here's the call. Myself and Taylor Sharp on the call for that football game. Hope y'all enjoy.
Back after a couple of games being injured, Heyman gets the carry, and Trevor Heyman will get in the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown, Dunham Tigers. As they strike first, Trevor Heyman on the touchdown run.
He could be weighted, found an open running lane.
And it's Heyman again. And I think the ball came out. Well, I thought it did. It's actually a touchdown. The touchdown run from the Dunham Tigers. And again, number 7 coming back from injury, Trevor Heyman, the two-way star, also plays linebacker for the Tigers, comes in with a touchdown run. And it's the Dunham running game that's getting things going for the Tigers.
Yeah, second touchdown for Trevor Heyman early in this ball game. We all had that, right? We all had the running game being better than the passing game here for Dunham. I mean, that's just stick to the script. But look, credit Carter Hernandez.
3rd down and 6 for the Dunham Tigers. Haven backs to throw, fires, and gets the running back out of the backfield for another touchdown. And it's Trevor Heyman again, his 3rd touchdown of the game. 2 rushing, 1 receiving, and you see how much he means to this offense back from injury, already with 3 touchdowns tonight.
Yeah, good job on Heyman not quitting on the route. Like, William Mullins is there.
And there, I believe that's Sotil there.
We'll try this again, guys. 1 second. Okay, a little technical issue here. Let's see if we can get these highlights back for you guys.
Again, rewarding Sotil for his blocking with a receiving touchdown on the screen. Touchdown pass number 2 tonight for Haven.
Look, we talked about Sotil blocking, right? There goes Montgomery on the outside. There goes Jarvis Washington on the outside.
Tigers are going after it. High punt, not a long one either. Is returned by Montgomery. Montgomery fakes the handoff. There's Montgomery to the outside line. And, man, a convoy out in front for Richard Montgomery, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Tigers. 59 yards.
Really good fake there by Montgomery, right? I mean, everybody bid on it, thinking he's going to do that reverse to the other side of the field. He doesn't. Montgomery just keeps it, and nobody's able to catch Richard Montgomery on the outside because of the blocking on the edge. And, Jace, it is not looking good right now. The Dunham Tigers are rolling here at Episcopal because they're unselfish on the outside.
Chris Thomas. And then there's a slant, and that is an easy touchdown connection from QB1 to wide receiver 1. As you see, Elijah Haven to the South Alabama commit, Jarvis Washington for the touchdown, and that's what you reward these receivers for, their hard blocking on the perimeter. Give them the football, feed them the rock, and that's what Elijah Haven did to Jarvis Washington, number 15 touchdown on the season.
Yeah, and Washington made up for that holding on the perimeter there.
Yeah,
now, Trevor Heyman's probably not too happy
no, he's
with
not.
it. This is a good job.
Play action for Zach Hugh. They're going to try to take a shot down the field, and this time it is caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. 3rd time's the charm tonight. Malcolm Jubin on the touchdown reception, and Taylor, you just talked about it. The Knights will not be shut out tonight in their home field.
So there you have it. 42-7, your final score there. That was the Thursday game for VSN. That was the first half of my doubleheader on Thursday. Basically, Dunham went up on top and never looked back. A little bit different here for my Friday game. I want to talk about. This is a game I was just coming back home from tonight. And when I got the call from Lon or got the text from Lon, it's like, hey, like, Jace, are you interested in calling this game? I was like, oh, boy, yeah. Sign me up. I mean, I want to call this game, but it's Madison Prep and U High. It was for the 6-3A district championship game. U High, this is a team that last year, we can talk about what happened last year and everything. This is a team that felt like that they were cheated, out of not going to the state championship, playing for a state championship, playing for the playoffs. And you saw how that ended the season happen. But they lose the district championship as well to Madison Prep, 14-6. And you could tell that this, motivation, it was a motivation, for this team to go back and try to win this game. And that was one of the goals. Your goal is to win a district championship. That's one of your goals entering the season. So in order to do that, you got to go through Madison Prep to do that. But this was kind of a weird game, man. Both Madison Prep and U High had teams that were lined up the scoreboard. These are two teams that are averaging about over 50 points a game. They were both teams that have been playing some really good football ever since their losses. We talk about U High. They've been averaging over 50 points per game ever since their two losses, back-to-back losses to Rummel and Catholic High. And same thing can be said. I think U High, they're on a 6-game winning streak. You look at Madison Prep, I think they were like on a 5-game winning streak. After their loss, they lost to Southside and 35-22. And these two teams pretty high up in the power rankings, and we talk about that as well. U High was number 6 going into this football game. Madison Prep, number 4 going to this football game. And myself and Camille were on the call. And, yeah, Camille brought a good point. Only one offensive touchdown in this football game. You had a punt return for a touchdown from Landon Johnson. You had one offensive touchdown from Ethan McGlynn to Lawson Dixon. But that was about it. And then what sealed the deal was an interception return for a touchdown for the Cubs. But I'm going to play you the highlights. It was a crazy game. It was an exciting game. But U High gets the revenge. They win the 6-3A district championship. They move to 7-2 on the season. And I truly believe that this could be a game we see again in the playoffs. How cool would it be to have a game like this in the playoffs, where there's a quarterfinals, semifinals? Hey, you might actually see this game in the Dome, depending on what the brackets are laid out. But check out the highlights. It was a great one on Halloween night. Couldn't ask for a better matchup. Couldn't ask for a better game. And U High wins a defensive gem. If you are a defensive coach, this is the type of game that you want to tune into. If you're an offensive coach, I'd say look away. Do not watch this game. It's not for the faint of heart. But go and check out the highlights. It was a great one to call. It was a really fun one. But this was, let's see here. Pull that for you. 14-8. And we'll see how much the power rankings really, and we'll see how that really changes things. But here are some highlights here. U High and Madison Prep. U High gets a 14-8 win. It was a classic down to the finish for the 6-3A district championship. And let's see, we can add this back and enjoy the highlights of this one on my VSN doubleheader this week.
Here is the punt for the Cubs. And let's see, it's like this is returnable. And there is Johnson, the quarterback, making a couple guys miss. Johnson makes a cut to the opposite sideline, What a move for Johnson. Picks up a block, and there goes Johnson down the sidelines. One man to beat, and he does.
Wow.
What a return.
No flags. What a
No flags, looking around. And I tell you what, I don't know how Landon Johnson did it, but he broke about 5 tackles in a matter of a millisecond after he caught the punt.
I think he changed directions about 5 times. There's a few Cubs that probably need to go change it, get relace their shoes. Man, oh man, what an electric player.
A 65-yard punt return for a touchdown. And keep in mind, folks, that's your starting quarterback. 2nd down and 9. McGlynn backs the pass. Clean pocket. Is going to throw it deep in the end zone. And it's going to be a touchdown for the Cubs. Touchdown, Cubs. And it's wide receiver number 1, Lawson Dixon, on the touchdown grab. McGlynn to Dixon for 6.
What a play by Dixon to make that. The corner was all over him. The window was closed. He literally took that ball from around his back.
Man, you'll see the Cubs try to go for 2 to tie this football game up at 8 apiece. They got the swinging gate. And there's the snap on the swinging gate. You'll see they throw it out of it, and it is caught. I believe it is. And the 2-point conversion is good. Bradley Goodson on the reception. We talked about him defensively. And you see Coach Martin's son, William Martin, was the one who threw the pass for the 2-point conversion. He made the stop, but here we go. 1st down and 10. Johnson throws off his back foot. It is intercepted. This could be a pick 6 going the other way. The 40, the 30, the 20 is going to be a pick 6 for the U-High Cubs. Touchdown, Cubs. Number 24, Lorenzo Cooper, takes it to the house on the pick 6. Lorenzo Cooper on the interception.
Wow, wow, wow. That's what you're talking about, coming in clutch. Man, what a great defensive play to kill their momentum.
There's the snap. They do get the punt off. And it looks like it's not going to be returnable. Can they save it from going in the end zone? They do. I believe they do. It is down inside the 2-yard line. What a beautiful punt. Special teams has been the key all game long. And that time, what a punt by Mason Malawson. Great job by the special teams coverage going down there and saving that from going in the end zone. Look at that play.
Special teams and defense has been the name of the game all night.
And guess who it was? We called his name on offense, defense, and special teams. Bradley Goodson on defense, on the defensive line. He caught the 2-point conversion, and you see him running down there and saving that from going in the end zone. 3rd down and 8. Reed scrambling to the left side. Looks, and he is going to be sacked and brought down by the Cubs. Number 4, Lane Mixon, who had the interception, seals the ball game here with a game-clinching sack to win the football game. And the Cubs go crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, the U-High Cubs are your 6th 3A district champions.
What an exciting ball game. What a great championship game for the district. Man, I still can't get over this. 3 total touchdowns and only 1 was on offense.
Man, that was a great football game for sure. 14-8. U-High getting their revenge over the Madison Prep Chargers, and that was a fun one to call. Even though it was a defensive low-scoring game, a defensive game, there was a lot clearly going on in that football game. It was definitely a fun one to watch. But there's your BSN highlights right there. Well, guys, we'll take one more commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show tonight, talk about some power rankings around the state of Louisiana to wrap things up. But here, one more time, Tommy's, make sure to give them a call, 225-250-8808. That is the number to call. Make sure to go to gotommys.com. That's GEAUX, Tommys.com. You want your windows, doors, sidings, patio, covers, gutters. They can do it all. Make sure to go call Tommy. Call the best in the biz. And Tommy has been in the business for over 20 years. And make sure to give him a call. Angie's List award-winning over the last couple of years. So make sure to call the best when getting your job done. If you need windows, doors replaced, for sure, Tommy's is your guy. And Tommy's and his crew are your team to call. Call Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Windows, doors, and siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly. Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, locally owned and operated with over 20 years experience and dedicated to providing you with affordable options to transform any home or business. So call today, 225-250-8808. Go Tommy's, and you'll see the difference clearly.
Welcome back, guys, as we're about to end things here on another edition of Ballin in the Boot, for sure. I was your host, Jace LeJeune, as we're about to recap Week 9, and we're kind of at the point of the season, guys, where we're kind of looking at the power rankings. So let me bring you the power rankings, see where everybody's kind of at least some of the kind of the top teams, and obviously we're going to take a deeper look into it next week when we go into Week 10. So let me see here, share the screen a little bit with you guys. A lot to manage, that's for sure. But let's see here. Let's see if I can see that. Maybe I can remove myself. Let's see. Hopefully it works. That way I can see it a little bit better. Well, I guess that's kind of the best we're going to look. I'm trying to see. Oh, there we go. That should work. That should be better. All right, so let's kind of look and see what's going on. The power rankings around the state of Louisiana. Here is what Division One select, and this is Louisiana Sports Line's power rankings there. As you see, we're going to kind of look at maybe some of the top teams here. You see some of the overall teams looking at, so 24 going in, Bombal, Como, Warren Easton. But you look at the top here. Let's kind of look at maybe the top 10 teams you have in the car right now, looking at as a number one team in Division One select right now. So they are 8-0 on the season. Obviously, the tiebreaker was John Curtis. They get the head-to-head. But the last time this was updated was at 9:53, so expect it to update. Catholic in at number 3. You have Ash at number 4. Turlings, that they can move up after the big win over St. Thomas More tonight. St. Aug's having a great season. Talked to Coach Valdez earlier this year. They're at number 6. Tioga having a great season with only one loss and been scoring a lot of points this year. They are at number 7. St. Thomas More is at 8. Archbishop Rummel at 9. How about Riverdale at number 10 at 7-1? Those are your top 10 in Division One select. Division One non-select right now. This is your top 10. You have Destrehan in at 6-2 right now. Thibodaux had a big win tonight Thursday night over Terrebonne. They are 8-1. Speaking of Terrebonne, they're ahead of them. Kind of expect that maybe to switch a little bit. But Thibodaux, that's a big head-to-head victory over Terrebonne. Southside, they got a big win Thursday night over Karen Crow. They are 7-2 on the season. Neville gets a win tonight. I think they moved to 6-3. Central, they defeated Zachary on Thursday night. They were 7-2. They were number 5. Northwood Shreveport having a great season at 8-1. At number 4, Ruston at number 3 at 6-2. Parkway's a quiet 9-0 this year. Coach Brotherton doing a great job with that team. In West Monroe, they did lose tonight to Neville. We'll see how that affects things, but they are the number 1 team in Division One non-select. Let's move on to Division Two select. Your top 10 teams. This obviously made a difference since I called a game between two teams that were among the top 6. Haynes Academy in there because of a tough schedule this year, but they are 5-4 on the season. They are at number 10. St. Michael, they fell tonight to Brewery, but they're in the top 10 right now at 6-3. Edie White at 5-3. I think they do play Vanderbilt Catholic to wrap the regular season up. A huge opportunity there for both those two teams. Lake Charles Prep gets a win tonight. They are 6-2. U High, I mentioned it. You saw the highlights. They moved to 7-2 on the season. That could change. We might see U High go up to number 4 with a win over Madison Prep. Archbishop Shaw, they fell to Bell Chase. They are 6-3. They were the defending state champions in this bracket. Vanderbilt Catholic is still not, they're undefeated. Loyola Prep did fall tonight to North DeSoto, but they're still going to be a pretty good football team to watch out for, but they fall to 8-1. St. Charles Catholic, they win tonight, so looking pretty good to be that number 1 team in Division 2 select. And we go to Division 2 non-select. West Louisiana they've had a slow start to the season, but it seems like the Terry Minor and the Saints are really got it going on right now. They are number 10 in the power rankings. Number 9 is Jennings at 6-3. Franklin Parish in at number 8 at 7-2. Franklinton at number 7. Remember, they were the number 1 seed in the playoffs last year. But they're still going to be dangerous with Jacob Crane at quarterback. They are 6-3. Bruley gets a win tonight. Bruley, good season this year. They are 9-1. Really great job. Great season for the West Side. You talk about Bruley. Now we talk about Plaquemine as well. They are 8-1. Bell Chase, they had a great win over Archbishop Shaw. They moved themselves to 8-1. Iowa is 9-0. Lakeshore's 8-1, and North DeSoto still undefeated, looking pretty strong after a big win over Loyola College Prep, moved themselves to 9-0. And we'll see, that was Division 2 non-select. Division 3 select, let's go up here to Division 3 select. We talked to Coach Standiford right now. They are number 1 in Division 3 select. They are 8-1 after the win over Evangel Christian Academy. You can see that interview at the beginning of the show once the show is uploaded. Notre Dame, they got a big win tonight over Lafayette Renaissance. They moved to 7-2. Jules Sumner is undefeated at 9-0. Calvary, they won tonight. They're 8-1. Lafayette Renaissance, I believe they fall to 7-2. Dunham, obviously they got the win over Episcopal. They are also 8-1. I know one person commented tonight that LCA Dunham. If we get that game in the Superdome, that will be a fun one for sure. Let's see. We have Newman. They've been on the roll with Coach Weiss. They've been a little bit on the winning streak there. Catholic New Iberia, don't count them out. Remember, they won the state championship in this bracket last year. Still a good season at 7-2. Bunkie, they bounced back and they got the victory tonight. They're 8-1 on the season. Amy, they are 7-2. That is your top 10 in Division 3 select. So here is Division 3 non-select, your top 10. Union Parish, they were able to win a game via forfeit here tonight. They win and move to 5-4, I believe, on the season. Mansfield is 6. I believe they're 7-2 as well. Loreauville won tonight. They're 6-3. Oak Grove is 7-2. Marksville, great season this year as well for Coach Harper. They are 8-1. How about the season? We talked to Coach Reed on the show here tonight. Appreciate Coach Reed for coming on board and talking with us. They are 9-0. So is ERAF. ERAF, we talked to Coach LeBlanc earlier in the season, and the Bobcats are really on the roll, trying to also go to 10-0. Sterlington, remember, they're the defending state champions. You can't count them out. Gina's played really great football. They had a big win last week over Bunkie. And St. James, they won convincingly over Patterson tonight to move to 7-2 on the season, number 1 team in Division 3 non-select. And then finally, we'll go to Division 4 select. that is a really tough division, I have to admit. Southern Lab seem like they're playing their best football. I mean, look at the teams. I mean, even St. John, Kentwood, Alposas Catholic, Sacred Heart. You got some tough teams there in Division 4 Select, one of the deepest brackets there is. You can probably tell me 10 different teams. I would not be shocked they go and win a state championship. Southern Labs find their stride right now. See some of the scores right there they've had this year. Covenant Christian, they are 7-2. They won tonight. St. Edmund, they are 8-1. They're at number 8. Washita Christian, they won. They are 9-0. Ascension Episcopal is 9-0. Ascension Catholic is 7-2. Catholic Point Capee is 7-2. Hamilton Christian is 9-0. Westminster Opelousas is, I believe, 9-0. And then you have Riverside Academy as the number 1 seed. Man, this is going to be really tough to pick when we come and talk about picking who wins, who comes out of this bracket as a state champion. It's going to be tough to pick out of that bracket. And then finally, let's talk about Division 4, at least the top 10 teams for tonight as we're about to wrap the show up. Grand Lake is number 10 at 6-3. West St. Mary is in at number 9. East Louisiana, very familiar with them. They're going to be a sleeper in this bracket. They won, so they're 6-3. Vinton is having a good season. They're 7-2. Or I know 6-2. Let's see, Logansport, they are 6-3. Jeanerette, you got them up there. They're having a good season. Mangum is having a really good season. They played a really tough schedule over there with their record. Haynesville still undefeated. North Iberville bounced back after their loss to Ascension Catholic. And then you got the defending state champs. Don't forget about South Plaquemines coming in with 7-1. And then finally, I mean, that is Division 4, a non-select. So those are your power rankings, kind of an early look, and we'll obviously dive deeper into them next week for Division 4. I mean, all the divisions as we wrap up the show. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining me here tonight. We appreciate all the coaches that came on, Coach Standiford as well, Coach Reed for coming on the show. Appreciate everybody that's commented and been involved and watched the show. Do me a favor, if you're watching this, no matter where you're watching this, make sure to watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel if you're watching us on YouTube. Follow us on X if you haven't followed us yet on X. And then, follow us on Facebook if you're watching this on Facebook. Guys, enjoy your football weekend. Man, this regular season winding down when we have one more regular season game week left in week 10, the regular season finale. You know, there's always going to be a lot to talk about when we talk about week 10 of the Louisiana High School football season. And guys, a little bit changing the schedule coming up. So you know how we do our Friday shows for Ballin the Boot. When the playoffs are coming up, we'll have a Road to the Dome show on Monday. So not only we'll have our Ball in the Boot show on Friday, we'll have our Ball in the Boot show on Monday as we get the playoff brackets on not this Monday, but the Monday coming up. Well, guys, enjoy your football weekend. And then, enjoy your Halloween. Hope everybody had a happy Halloween. And, we're getting to that holiday, that holiday season, right? You finish Halloween, you're looking ahead to Thanksgiving and then Christmas and New Year's and all that. So enjoy the football weekend, everybody, and we'll see y'all next time with another edition of Ball in the Boot. Have yourself a great night.